Hi, Geek. Yesterday, I was so yippee that Amalee joined VShojo. Congrats to her. Yeah. Yeah. Did you see it? Did you watch it? I told you guys I was excited. I was very, very, very excited. It's something I knew about for a really, really, really long time. And I think she touched on it during the debut, where she said that she was actually in talks to maybe join around the same time I was in talks to maybe join. Like, our discussions started at a similar time. I wanted to give a factoid, a little fact about that, but I obviously wasn't going to say it until after. Initially, when we were like negotiating, discussing, joining, whatever, she and I were like by NDA allowed to talk to each other about it, because the initial plan was that we might have joined as a duo. We were being talked to at the same time. It was just the two of us on the same timeline. And we were talking about maybe even like joining like the same weekend or something like that. And then for me, I was able to join. For her, it was like right thing, wrong time. So I was like, oh, well, I hope you try again in the future. Like, maybe, like, you know, we'll see. I hope it works out. And she was like, yeah, it's just not going to be a thing right now. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And it was like both sides mutually being like, this is not the time for this, you know? So I was like, God, I hope there is a right time later. I really hope you join, you know? But I didn't say anything to anyone, obviously, because that was all like NDA stuff at the time. But but yeah, so I'm just glad it worked out, because it was a long time in the works, and it was, you know, the same process as me, where she was supposed to just kind of be brought in. And but not she was supposed to be, I shouldn't say it like that. It was a discussion, right? It was a discussion, and mine turned out as a yes, hers turned out as a no at the time. And I was like, no. I'm gonna come back. So I'm just really glad, really glad that she was able to join this time. What happens in that situation? Does she reapply or say, hey, I'm ready, put me on the payroll? Neither of us applied or auditioned. It wasn't that. We were both approached and scouted directly. Like, someone reaches out in a DM or an email or somewhere, however they, you know, in person, it could be anything, but someone will directly reach out if they're scouting. There are basically two ways to join as a member. It's not one thing. It's either you get scouted because someone directly talked to you, or you audition. So in our cases, it was being scouted. So for her, if she wanted to reopen the conversation, it was the sort of thing she just had to DM someone and be like, hey, I'm thinking about this. What are your thoughts? And then it's conversations, right? It's not like a specific process. It's a very like subjective process, to be honest. Like, don't read into anything. It's literally just conversations. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like they were like, oh, we're holding a specific slot. We're going to have this many people join and we need to scout this many people. It's literally just they talked to who they thought would be good and left that door open. Hey, if you'd like to join, let us know. We can get the process started. That's it. So from what I know, I'm pretty sure she just came back and was like, hey, yeah. Like, hey, it's a good time. I'm interested, right? Who was brave enough to scout? GEEGA. Actually, the first person I talked to was MTD, Mountain Dew. He was the first person to talk to me and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And then after that, it was just like all staff at that point, right? Or not all staff, but like all staff that handle that. You know what I mean? But yeah, Do wanted me to be in and discussed, and he wasn't reaching out like a, hey, this is an invite. He was reaching out like a, what do you think about this? Would you be open to it in case we start looking to scout anyone later? And I was like, at the time, I wasn't really thinking of joining, so I was like, we can have the discussions, the conversations, because I'm sure I'm missing info, but I'm not really like, I'm not looking to do anything but be indie. Like, that was my answer at the time, you know? But I was open to hearing about it, because obviously, like, you don't have the information, right? Like, you never know a lot until you like actually have those discussions. So I was like, I guess. Looking back, I'm like, wow, I really was like, yeah, whatever. I'll listen, I guess. Didn't know about the scouting type process, those applications, but that's cool. Yeah, no. We've done two things. I mean, most members have gotten in because someone just asked directly. Whether they asked because they had seen them organically or because they had researched and looked for people and then tried to scout, like either way, you know, they just find somebody, are interested, discuss it internally. Should we reach out to this person? If it's a yes, then someone reaches out. That's very simple. Same way you scout for anything. It's honestly the same as like, yeah, NFL scouting. Right. It's the same as like a sports team or a, if you're doing a production of a show, whether it be a musical or something on TV or something like that, there's a mix where they bring some people in to audition for things, but then they also scout some things. Sometimes they tell people directly, you should audition, and they have everyone go through a formal process. Sometimes they're like, we just have a person in mind for this one role, you know, things like that. Like, you just do a mix of whatever makes the most sense to do, not just one or the other. I think the entertainment industry is generally like that, though. Like, most things are not like all scouting or all audition or all whatever. It tends to be a blend. That's just very standard for the industry, so yeah.